Welcome back to the field. We're here at the July 14th Agronomy Alert. This week we're going to talk about rootworm. We've talked about this a little bit the last couple weeks and just scouting for it. With the recent windstorms we've had the last 10 days, we've really started to notice some goosenecking in some of our long-term corn fields where we knew we had a history of heavy rootworm populations. This is a field where we dug some plants. We had a plot. This happens to be a vorseed field south of Eckley. We've noticed that obviously we walked into the field, noticed goosenecking. We had noticed some root feeding, light root feeding, kind of through the last month or so, but nothing severe that we thought. Then we had our windstorm last week, and we started to notice some goosenecking and some lodged areas in the field where obviously we've have a lot higher population of rootworm larvae. This is an example of the vorseed hybrid. You can see we've got a lot of rootworm feeding, scarring on the roots, and just minimal root mass to say the least. So obviously we already see that goosenecking there. This is a field that we actually have a plot in. So we've got vorseed, we've got Smart Stacks Pro, we have Stacks, and we have the VT4 hybrid. So we got a comparison of a lot of the newer traits or trait packages to compare against. So none of these are what we would call ideal by any means, but just want to point out the difference. So that first one we looked at was vorseed. This is a newer Smart Stacks Pro hybrid. So we still notice some rootworm feeding where we've scarred the roots. A little bit better root mass than the vorseed product, but still not ideal. We do have a little bit of goosenecking and lodging in this hybrid as well. The one that really surprised us was the VT4, and from past agronomy alerts, if you guys remember, the VT4 just has one mode of action for rootworm, and that's RNAi. So we would expect this hybrid to be potentially the worst out of this, just based on the trait packages. But we actually looked at this hybrid, walked 2 or 3 towers in, and surprisingly, it has the least amount of scarring, feeding on these roots. And I would chalk this up to, this hybrid is just very aggressive out of the ground, probably above average root growth in general. And so I think that's really what, in this situation, this environment, what set this hybrid apart from the other two. So with that said, just want to reemphasize the get out in your field, scout. Right now, we're starting to see our first beetles. They've been a little bit slower than normal, just based on GDDs early here in the year. We're starting to see beetles. Saw a few beetles last week. No doubt we'll probably see a few more this week. Know those thresholds, and once you see females start being ready to lay eggs, you need to be ready to treat those fields, especially if you're planning on going into corn next year. Here we got obviously a field that we need to rotate next year. We tried to control beetles as good as we could last year, and obviously wasn't enough. So the second thing I want to mention is just with the newer trait packages, especially when it comes to rootworm, we can't rely solely on just the rootworm trait. We need a true integrated pest management, which means rotation, controlling beetles, and that whole package to try to keep those rootworm beetles or larvae eggs at a lower count. So once again, we've got our vorseed on my right hand side, Smart Stacks Pro, and the VT4. So just to show you, it's got some newer technologies, but we still need to incorporate that IPM into our overall management. So thank you and have a good week.